Welcome everybody, Red Arrow 23 here. Today we're going to be adding another video to the playbook. We're going to be adding the Boomtown Scooka Open. T2 aka Moving Day is going to display a demo this for us today. So Boomtown hasn't been touched yet. We're going to start off with a barrage on some of the mines on the left hand side. And sometimes these flamethrowers around here are machine guns. I would consider machine gun standard, but flamethrowers theirs work as well. There's sometimes a rocket here, which is fine. So we're just going to flare land into that bottom left hand corner. It seems quite nice. And then a smoke, and we're flaring right up, and we're dropping those 3 boats of scorches, and we also dropped a hero as well. We're going to be flaring up against this wall. This flare is pretty critical, and the timing of these smokes is critical. So watch these, and boom, boom, boom. So you could even go a little bit earlier. I would suggest they go a little bit earlier, just so that they expire as your Zookas are sort of reaching their destination. So T2 just amended that with a re-flare, which works fine. A few of the Zookas went forwards. You want to shock straight away, because there's a lot of damage per second coming out of these machine guns and flamethrowers these days. And with the battle orders, you can see that the Zookas ripped through the first few layers of the shield gens quite quickly. The rocket launchers are obviously going into the scorchers. This boom cannon's going to wreck this left scorcher, but that's okay. We flare up. And unfortunately we did lose that scorcher, but that's okay. And we flare up, and all we're going to be doing here is just collecting a few cells before we move even further up. The building damage was 180%. I have seen this quite a lot higher, so you be very wary. See the level health of the scorchers at the moment, and you can see that they've already taken quite a decent amount of damage. So if you're not rocking, like T2's not rocking troop health, but if you are, like, you could potentially use Iron Will as well. But if you do have someone with troop health statue, it's better for them to do this sort of hit. And then you're going to do a re-flare. So this is really important. So you re-flare back. And then you flare up, right up on the wall. So that re-flare back point should either be where it was there, or even a little bit further forward to where that front Zooka is. That's sort of your window, anywhere in there. And then you want to flare right up above, right on the wall, this left wall where this sort of white looking thing is, but higher than that, sort of around where those power cells are. There are usually, well, sometimes more power cells further down, so just watch out for that. Make sure you're obviously not flaring onto a power cell, because that will just ruin your day. And then we also need to flare before we get in range of these rocket launchers. And so there we go. And then this rocket launcher is going to be on the other side as well. So if these aren't rocket launchers, for example, you might be able to drop a smoke up there. But that's all good. And then you want to be throwing these 2 double smokes about, like, perfectly at that time. So when the scorchers are coming around that corner. So you're going to let the scorchers run out. Unfortunately, Brick is going to eat it as well. But those smokes are going to expire, and the flare is going to expire at the perfect time where all these Zookas are going to be in the dead zone of this rocket launcher. How awesome is that? So these rocket launchers are all going to be focusing on the scorchers, which is exactly what we want. The flamethrower might get a couple off the back, and the rocket launcher as well. But that's fine. The main point is that we're getting this rocket launcher from the dead zone of the left rocket launcher, and the right rocket launchers are targeted onto the scorcher. You see that this mixed scorcher did fire onto the Zookas. As you can see, the scorchers are right on that sort of inner radius. So both the scorcher and the Zookas are right on that inner, so they're both very close to the rocket, as close as they can get. So this rocket did turn, and Moving Day did a great job of anticipating that. And what you can do, as you can see, he's flared onto this next rocket launcher. Usually there's more rocket launchers around here. What you want to do is, if you flare onto a rocket launcher, you'll see that the Zookas sort of stop when they arrive. You see that they stop where that dead rocket launcher was. So if there is still a rocket launcher where the Zookas are right now, they're all going to be sitting in the dead zone. So say for example, this machine gun was actually a rocket launcher, you could, instead of flaring the rocket launcher he did, you could flare directly onto that next rocket launcher, and you could you just either smoke or shock to make that happen. So there you go. All the Zookas could be sitting in the dead zone, but they're just clearing out right now. Sometimes there's a bunch of rocket launchers up here, other times you get a little bit lucky like here, and we got a few machine guns and cannons as well. So that's all good, and then he's just going to keep moving on up and just clear what he can. Now anything else from here is a bonus. The next player is going to be able to go for the shield generators. He might, hopefully going to clear some cells out for that. And look at this, he knows he hasn't got the GBE for the shot for the shield gens, but he's got enough GBE to clear out 2 of these shocks. Boom, boom. Great attack from T2. If you do have GBE to take out the defenses around the core, that's going to save the core rusher quite a lot. So the next attacker could potentially take out these 3 shields. Usually there's a shock launcher here. Take out those 3 shields and then move over and do a core rush. And T2 has saved a couple of shocks there. That's perfect. Even one Zooka just celebrating after being the only one left. So here we go. Let's have another look through. We're just going to let it run through single speed this time. I'm going to try not to talk too much, but I feel like I need to fill the gap sometimes. So here we go. 1 flare. We've already used 1 barrage. Going to do that nice flare landing to the left. And this is good. This takes the full 4 minutes. So it's a great, it's a really long hit. And obviously by the time you get up to the back, that you're going to be using a ton of flares. So he's already used 2 flares. And by the time he gets way up to by the core, he's going to be using quite a lot more than that. So I'd actually like the 3 flares, 3 smokes to sort of go a couple, maybe a second or 2 before they did. And then you can just let them bounce off that wall and not have to worry about it because the smoke's already going to be expiring. But so he's done a flare back, and now the Zookas have a bit of separation on the scorches. And then just using their most of that battle orders, getting those scorches to move up quick. There we go. As soon as that shield generator goes down, we can move up. It's obviously a bit hard to see with all this flame and death going on. You don't want to flare up too soon. And there we go. You can see we've got the force point. So we can flare up. And then he's smoking. Probably doesn't really need to smoke at all. Because the rocket launchers are all going to be firing into the scorches. So you can probably just ignore that. That's fine. And then you just want to be collecting some fuel, some power cells. I don't know why I always want to call these things fuel cells. Okay. And you definitely need to do that reflare just because you need the spacing from the scorches and the Zookas to be pretty on point. So as soon as the scorches and Zookas, like you could even flare forwards now and it would work. So here we go, flaring up. Scorches are a little bit faster than Zookas, so you're going to go ahead. Speed up this part of the walk, and then the timing of the next bit is going to be critical. Boom, boom. Scorches is going to come out, unfortunately because Brick is a little bit of a speedster, she's going to come out as well. And there we go. Shocking as required, flaring onto the second to next cannon to utilize that dead zone, and then he's kind of just freestyling from here. You can't really plan this far ahead, but he knows that you can clearing out these defenses is obviously going to help, and clearing any shocks at 12 o'clock, which is where our core rush would usually be, is also going to help. So there we go. Scorcher goes down. And we clear it all out. So nice work T2, thanks for that. That'll be the playbook episode for the Boomtown Scooka Open. Hope you enjoyed it. Give us a comment down below if you do it any differently. If you think with the update, the machine guns obviously having a buff, whether you think it's still viable without troop health, or with Iron Will, or I think battle orders is more efficient because you can just power through quicker and then get out of dodge. That's going to do it for this one. Give us a thumbs up if you liked the video, thumbs down if you didn't, and subscribe for more Boom Beach.